On this episode of Money Matters with Jim Doyle, it's okay to fail. How embracing failure is as important as embracing success. Featuring guest Vikram of Vidge's Restaurant with Adam Mills and Felix Böck. Plan more, worry less. This is Money Matters with Jim Doyle.
At least once in your life, you're going to fail at something. Your talent, intelligence, hard work, and/or passion will not be able to save you. If failure is inevitable, you can learn substantially more from failure than success with the right mindset. Fear is a valuable thing. It keeps people safe and encourages caution when caution is due. But fear can also be a limiting factor. Now imagine for a moment there are only two types of business people: the realists and the dreamers. The realists, logical individuals who always weigh out the pros and cons before making any decisions, especially the big ones. They stick with a what's next plan for the future. Dreamers are, well, dreamers. They can be risk takers and have lofty ambitions, sometimes impulsive. They challenge the norms of society and think outside the box. Welcome. So which of the two do you think you are? And is it one better than the other? The mindset you have around risk may determine how many times you bounce back from failure. Before meeting celebrity chef Vikram, a realist and a dreamer, and no stranger to risk, let's take you into one of his restaurants.
I was ready to open up a restaurant. So I actually called up my dad and said, come. And he came from India, and him and my mom and him and I first went and bought a Lebanese restaurant. It was on 1453 West Broadway. It was next to the Royal Bank. It was a small 16-seat restaurant, and it literally was a one-man show. And you know what my breakaway point was? My breakaway point was $100. And some days I would do like $96 and $97, and it would really hurt emotionally. One of the evenings at 7 o'clock, it was dead. I hadn't quite done enough sales, and a phone rang, and there was somebody on the other line saying, I want to come in and talk to you. I've heard about you as a restaurant owner. You used to work for Bishop's. I want to come and talk to you. And I made her some hummus with some garam masala, and I gave her some twists of Indian. So I still was doing some Lebanese dishes, but I was incorporating Indian spices in it. And she loved it. And she said, I want to do a review. And I was like, sure. I was like, this is my first review. So I still remember to this day, 12th of November, 1994, my first review comes out. And it says, Vidge is making a mark on Broadway. You have to understand the connotation of it, because Vikram Vidge always wanted to be an actor. And here she writes down that Vidge is making a mark on Broadway. And so I still have that review. I've gotten thousands of reviews after that, but that is one review that I have kept, because that was my starting and turning point. And then Angela Murrells wrote one for Georgia Strait. That got great reviews. Food writer from New York Times. And he wrote down saying, among the finest Indian restaurants in the world. And that just took us to a level where internationally we were recognized now. And we had a beautiful ride until 2008. And then I wanted to become bigger, because obviously the thought process was bigger. And I bought a piece of land on Cloverdale and built a factory, a 28,000 square foot production facility, huge, big one. And that's where I lost a lot of money, of my hard-earned money. Mine means ours, Vidge's Restaurant stuff. But those were mistakes. We fell hard, but we always survived. But there's no one single turning point. You know, I can say my turning point was meeting Meeru. I can say my turning point was that one review. Every time you do something in life, If you take that as an opportunity that this is a turning point, then it becomes a turning point.
When we come back, we'll have Vikram Vij with us in studio.
Passion is something that you have to believe in. Passion is believing. You know, passion is in your heart. Like, I believe in this.
Welcome back. We've got the incomparable Vikram Vij with us. I think you'd be hard-pressed to know anybody who doesn't know the name Vikram Vij, but who is Vikram Vij?
Namaste, I'm a chef, a sommelier, a father, lover of good food, but most importantly, just a human at heart.
Okay, well that sounds like a great place to start. Now, I want to share this a little bit. I understand that your father had plans for you early in life. How did that path go for you?
Well, you know, as a young kid, I wanted to be like a Bollywood actor. You know, I wanted to dance around the trees and sing and have this beautiful romance. And I grew up with that feeling of like, I want to be an actor. I want to be stage actor. And then one day my father came to me and said, no son of mine is going to become an actor. And my dreams were shattered. I was like, ah. But then I always loved people. I'm a people's person. I love interacting with people. I love, you know, talking to people. And so I said, how do I bring my creativity of the stage, this being, this joie de vivre, this crazy Indian on, you know, how do I manifest it? How do I take it to a different level altogether? And I said, I should become a chef one day because I love cooking. I love feeding people. I love taking care of people.
Now, here's today's $1 million question, okay? In order to be a success in business today, would you say that a business owner needs to learn how to fail?
Well, failure is just another step towards success. You know, failure is just like you step on it, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to make mistakes, and then you brush yourself off and, you know, you take the next step and then you fail again. So I would never call it as a failure. I would never describe it as a failure. I would say those are hardships that come along in having a business, running a business. And when you run a business, you're going to sometimes be short on cash, sometimes be short on staff, sometimes be short on something else that you need. So it's life. I don't think that's a failure. I think it's more of a how you see it as. And I've never seen it as a failure. I've just seen it as like, all right, okay, what next? So if you can't get to this way, well then let's go this way and then go this way and then go this way and then figure it out how to get to the top. Because the goal, ultimate goal is to, you know, get to the top. It's like a river that flows to the ocean. A river has to flow to the ocean. That's its goal. That's its life. Sometimes it gets dammed, sometimes it gets stopped, sometimes it gets, you know, moved around a little bit, but it always gets to the ocean. And that's the beauty of life.
So failure isn't a wall, it's part of an ocean or part of a flow. So would you say that passion and risk go hand in hand?
Passion is something that you have to believe in. Passion is believing. You know, passion is in your heart. Like, I believe in this. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about that dish. I'm passionate about that music. I'm passionate about that wine. You're passionate about it. Now, how do you convert that passion into a business or a success is sometimes you have to evaluate and say, do I need to take this passion into a business level, or do I need to stay passion as passion and earn money on doing whatever I want? So it's an individual thing.
Let's listen to Adam Mills as he talks about managing success in a growing business.
I mean, we've certainly faced our fair share of ups and downs and challenges. And I would say something that was always a challenge from the beginning was really managing our growth. You know, we started out very small, and so ever since we opened, every sort of 5-6 months we were, you know, reinvesting and adding new equipment and new tanks, and so it was a challenge just managing our growth, managing cash flow, making sure we weren't overextending ourselves, and just knowing when to pull back and when to move forward. So yeah, managing growth, although growth is a positive thing, it was certainly challenging and a learning experience for us as new business owners.
So Vikram, Adam talks about managing growth. Does that problem ever go away?
No. That issue that Adam talked about is something that happens on everyday basis. You know, it's like if you have the cash, then you invest into new equipment, into new places, and then those equipments don't generate the revenue that they want. So then you're, you know, cash flow poor and asset rich. You know, you have lots of equipment, but you don't have enough cash to sustain it. So you're asset rich, cash flow poor, and then when the cash flow comes in, then you buy something else. I mean, that's the beauty of life, is that you're constantly reinventing new ideas, new things. You're investing into manpower, you're investing into equipment, you're investing into new projects that you feel like doing. And that's what growth is. Life is about growth.
Vikram, what I've just heard is own your quest. When we come back, Vikram shares his thoughts on how your beliefs shape your reality.
If you feel limited that you can't do certain things, then you're 110% not going to be able to do it.
Welcome back. So if limitations define your current experience or your current circumstances, does it also follow that it's likely going to define your quality of life?
Yeah, I mean, limitations, again, limitations is all up here. If you feel limited that you can't do certain things, then you're 110% not going to be able to do it. So limitations are all in your mind. I mean, of course, there are physical limitations and there are emotional limitations and the things that you can do. I respect everybody's, I'm saying. But to just give up because you just find an excuse sometimes is not something that I accept.
Now, Vikram, I'm going to put you on the spot here, okay? We're going to talk a bit about setbacks. I understand that not all ventures in your life have been successful, okay? How would you advise a business owner on dealing with setbacks?
So it's like, think about it like, it's like cooking or a musician who's making music, you know? When they first come up with a dish or when they first make a musical album, or it's not the first time it turns out to be great, right? They have to throw some of it away, eat some of it, you know, listen to that music again, over and over again, until they're able to find that fine tuning. So that's what business ventures are. This constantly sharpening your pencils and coming back and looking at it and reevaluating and saying, where can I stop this? Where can I stop this? Where can I do this?
Now, Vikram, I know you're going to be dying to tell us more about this a little bit later, but what I think I'm hearing is how you apply the spices in the right way. Let's listen as Felix Böck talks about running a business and only focusing on your area of expertise.
I think you tend to focus first on your area of expertise and naturally neglect the other areas of the business that matter probably much more than your area of expertise, because it's easier to manage. So in my case, it was, from day one, I nailed the production, I loved the engineering aspect, but I didn't focus on sales. And that's kind of the, it's the obvious thing for most people. It wasn't for me. I thought it would just, come with a story, and maybe also the naive approach that I had, that with a unique story, it's just, just want to inspire, I don't want to make money. I learned that if I make money with a business, I can have a much greater impact because I can expand that unique story.
Do you have any thoughts on Felix's comments?
Well, I think Felix put it properly. He said, like, focus on what you know, what your area of expertise is, and don't have to, try to be everything everywhere, because you're not going to do it properly. So focus on what your area is and bring in people that, kind of help you in guiding you in the right direction, and learn from them. So somebody who's an academic who knows social media, for example, or somebody who knows how to manage funds, for example. So be knowledgeable of what your forte is, what you're good at, and it's okay to accept the fact that you can't be good at everything.
Vikram, I love the thought of surrounding yourself with great people. Can we talk about developing a success mindset? Now, success is a very enchanting word. What in your world isn't success?
So success is very relative to what you as an individual feel what success is. So if you feel that, oh, I did this and this and accomplished so and so and so, I'm successful, then that's your success. That is totally acceptable as your success. That cannot be anybody else's success.
So I want to ask, if we went back over the past couple of decades, was there ever a point where you might not have gone forward yet for the input or thoughts of one key individual?
I don't think there's one individual that makes you think. One individual may make you think slightly differently and approach the things differently. But you have to have the conviction. You have to have the focus. You need to have that, laser eye beam to say, doesn't matter what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get to this point. You have to have the vision. It's not like somebody fed you this pill of success and you wake up in the morning and you're successful. It doesn't work that way. There is no pill for success. Pill for success is sheer hard work. It's slow, it's painful, it's hurtful, it's scary. But when you see it, when you feel it, it feels awesome.
What I just heard, success doesn't come without a little bit of hard work. When we come back, more business gems from celebrity chef Vikram Vij.
When you cook food from different parts of the world, you build tolerances towards each other.
Welcome back. Adding his particular spice to our show today, Vikram Vij. Okay, we're dying to know, what's next for Vikram Vij?
Well, we've done the restaurants, we've done the takeout, we've done other things. And I thought the next thing should be we've just launched a line of our own spices so that you can cook at home with your family and friends. I want everybody to cook food in their home from different backgrounds and different ethnicities. So one day I want you to cook Mexican, and the other day I want to cook Italian, and I want you to cook Indian one day and Chinese one day. Because when you cook food from different parts of the world, you build tolerances towards each other.
Vikram, you had me at cooking. So I want to ask you in terms of what legacy would you like to leave as a businessman and as a family man?
I think my legacy as a business person would be he came into this beautiful country called Canada. He came into this great democracy called Canada. He gave his colors, his spice to this beautiful tapestry of Canada. I didn't need to melt into becoming one. I could individually be who I am. It didn't matter. So I have nose rings and toe rings and tattoos, and I could be who I am, and nobody was going to judge me. So that's the legacy as a human being, that I came into this country and I enriched this country more. I made this country more tolerant. I made this country more successful. I am the best unappointed ambassador of Canada when I leave Canada, because I'm so proud of where I live. And as a family man, I want my kids to say, our dad was crazy. Our dad is nuts, but he's a loving father.
Well, as Canada's #1 unofficial ambassador, I love where you're going with this. We can all agree that failure is a tough pill to swallow. But the truth is, it's also an inevitable part of doing business. Running a business can be a lonely experience where critical decisions are yours alone, relying on your wit and willingness to take risk. For many business owners, however, mastering emotions around failure is a tricky minefield. Having advised business owners for over 30 years, I've witnessed how it feeds them and motivates them forward. I feel confident saying how you manage failure will determine your level of success. Developing resilience to adversity is critical to building a business owner's mindset. Vikram reminds us that when in business, each of us adding a little spice enriches the mosaic of life. It's been said that experience is something you can't buy, but it's awfully expensive to acquire. Now, I wish we had more time. I want to thank Vikram Vij, Adam Mills, and Felix Böck for sharing their thoughts on money matters. Because financial aspects touch so many elements of our lives, it pays to get great advice. Plan more, worry less.